It's happening all over the country, and especially here with Cheap Ass Movie Reviews, and that is dollar movies at the Dollar Tree. Welcome back to Cheap Ass Movie Reviews. I'm Eric Stafford, and I'm here talking to you about some of the pickups that I recently got at the Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree does their dollar hauls. It's about quarterly, I would say. You tend to have a good chance of getting something. My local Dollar Tree really doesn't do that until later. There's a nearby town that has one, and they kind of get them first. But it takes our guys a while to put them out. I don't know why, but that just seems to be what happens. And a friend of mine was actually in our local Dollar Tree and was like, dude, they got the DVDs, they got the Blu-rays, come and pick them up. You know, Cheap Ass Movie Reviews is going to be there. And it is quite a haul, my friends. It is quite the haul. So we're going to start right off. I'm going to go through some of the films I got. We got, I'm going to go through all of them, but at the same time, I'm going to say, towards the end, I'll talk about the ones I've actually watched so far, so that kind of like makes a little sense. But starting off, we have At the Gate of the Ghost, which is a Chinese action film, it seems to be, which was quite the award winner. That should be fun. We'll check that out. Hugo Weaving in Black 47. Anytime you can see Hugo Weaving in a film, plus it being a Western, I've kind of been on a bit of a Western kick, so that's cool. Chavez, Cage of Glory, starring, of course, the great Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo, as everybody knows, got his start on Young and the Restless. He actually did. He was a day player. They picked him up. He had tattoos on his chest, and he got to go and intimidate one of the young characters who was actually Victor Newman's son. So it was his son. So that's how Danny Trejo got his start in acting. He's been in everything since. Anything that the Rodriguez does. D13U, which is a sequel of sorts, but it's supposed to have a bunch of parkour kind of action in it. Haven't seen it. No idea. Thought I'd give it a shot. Frank, which stars Maggie Gyllenhaal and Michael Fassbender. And Michael Fassbender can make some bad movies. I mean, he can. He's a great actor. But if somebody asks him to sign up and do something, by God, he's there. That's all I'm going to say. Jack the Giant Slayer, which I never did see. It's got the guy from The Beast from the Young X-Men movies is in it. And I'd seen him as a child actor and other things. I know that Ewan McGregor's in it as well. I never did see it. Thought it was worth the pickup. Journey to the Center of the Earth with Brendan Fraser. I like Brendan Fraser. A lot of people don't like Brendan Fraser, and I think his appeal is really showing now that he's doing Doom Patrol. A lot of people are seeing him in a different light, that he can carry stuff. I mean, he was in Gods and Monsters. He can do serious. He was in like a serious movie when he started. One of the Robin Williams Dead Poet Society or something. He was in that, so he can do that. But a lot of people after the Mummy movies are like, he can't do anything. And go back and watch that first Mummy movie. It's the best one. It's really good. The one with Jet Li wasn't bad, but I will say that first Mummy movie is a really good movie. Also, Marco Zarr in Mandrill. Never heard of Mandrill. There's Mandrill, but it's supposed to be the martial arts sequence will make your jaw drop. So we'll check that out. Been on a bit of a Liam Neeson kick lately too. Run All Night with Liam Neeson and Ed Harris. I remember when this came out and it got a lot of press because he'd done so well with the Taken movies, and then this was kind of like something to do after that. It kind of came after that. Clive Owen in Shadow Dancer. Anytime Clive Owen's in a picture, it's usually great. So he does have some strange picks, but it's usually a great movie, so something you want to see. I've always liked Sean Bean, and this is apparently the show that he got his start in was called Sharp, and it was on BBC. This is the entire first season for $1, so I didn't think that was too bad. And but I've always liked Sean Bean, and right after this was when he did GoldenEye, and he played the Bond villain in that, in GoldenEye, and I just thought he was really good. This just caught my eye because I'm a big comic book fan. A movie called SuperCon, but it's got John Malkovich in it and Clancy Brown. It just seemed like it would at least be worth the time, so I thought that was pretty cool. Anytime you can talk comics or something like that, I want to see it. Also, speaking of Jet Li, Jet Li was in The Warlords, and if you like Jet Li, which I think he's a great actor. I think he does a great a great turn at anything he does. I've never really seen him be horrible in anything. Did you see the one where Bob Hoskins had him and he was a dog? That was crazy. He was his personal dog and he just like sick him on people. It was really kind of strange. But anyway, this is the Warlords, and it's got Jet Li and Andy Lau and some other folks in it. Yet another Chinese action film, but they're usually pretty good. You just have to read, or I have to read them. But in some of the ones that I actually picked up that I have watched, or me and my wife have watched, and this is the main reason I went, was somebody told me that these were out, and that was Battlestar Galactica, is a TV show, the newer TV show, and it's the 2 movies that they did for Sci-Fi. It's Razor and The Plan. The Plan, if you've never seen it, and I've seen The Plan there by itself at Dollar Tree. If you go to Dollar Tree, they have The Plan by itself, but if you can find the double feature, I would get it, because they're both so good. I mean, I forgot how much I liked this show. I never did buy the entire season or the entire show, but I watched every episode and really did enjoy it. But it's like Walking Dead. It's one of those things, I think once it's over and you've been through it, I don't know how much you're going to go back and watch it. You know, if it's like available to binge watch somewhere, especially like with all this COVID junk, that would be a good show to go back and watch, because it was really good, really trippy. But these 2 movies kind of make up a kind of, I will say, like cliff notes to the whole show, so that you can kind of watch them and not really know what's going on, especially The Plan. The Plan covers like the first 2 or 3 seasons, and then the Razor came out and covered, was the start of the 4th season. So it was really very interesting. Talked about Commander Kane and all that stuff. You know any Battlestar Galactica stuff, then Commander Kane is pretty rough. But anyway, I watched Razor. I'd seen The Plan and watched Razor and just really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun how Lee Adama got command of the Pegasus, and that's what's playing back here right now. Now, another film, I saw it. When I saw it, I thought, man, that's like, you know, that looks just really tough, because I like crime stuff. I like crime movies and mafia and stuff like that. But they had Outrage, Way of the Yakuza. And when I saw that, I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. I'll have to get that and see what that's like. And it is rough. I mean, it is very violent. There's a lot of torture scenes in this movie. Some stuff that'll really kind of shock you. Some of the blood's a little bright, like if you're watching a Hammer film, so you kind of don't really think it looks too much like blood, so it doesn't really throw you too bad. But it's just, you know, one Yakuza killing another one right after another, and it's this whole series of things. Got a lot of great actors in, a lot of the actors I knew from the Godzilla series, but the main actor, he was the commander in the recent Scarlett Johansson Ghost in the Shell. And I knew he was known for being like a tough acting guy. And he's kind of like almost like a Jack Nicholson in his age now compared to these. And to see him as this old tough guy, and it's almost like watching a Japanese version of Departed. It's just like all this intense action, and they just keep people, you just don't know who's going to get killed and who's not. And there are some American lines in it. There's some American scenes. There's one scene where they're talking in English, and even, you know, you wouldn't think it, but some racist comments in it, which is kind of surprising. You don't really think about the Japanese being terribly racist, but there are a couple of those comments in there. But it was a really good action scene. It's called Outrage, and action movie is called Outrage, and it was very intense, nothing a kid can watch, because it is a hard R. They did have a couple of sex scenes, but not nothing bad, but the violence is just crazy. I mean, lots of shooting, lots of torture, crazy stuff in that one. Also, I always love to pick these up whenever I can, especially for $1, because I am cheap-ass movie review. But is one of the DC animated series, and I've tried to watch them all. I've tried to catch them all, but when they come out, they're like 20-some bucks. And so you're like, you know, am I really going to pay $20 for a cartoon that's going to be playing on HBO or something in a month? You know, am I really going to pay that, or be free? If you wait a little while, they're free on Amazon Prime. So it's like you give them a little bit past their window, and unless you're just really dying to have it and buy it when it comes out, usually the DVD itself is $17. Then the Blu-rays go for like 20 to 25, and then the 4Ks, they started doing 4Ks now, and then they'll be 25 to 30. And it's like, geez. And Target does steelbooks of all of them, and I've got a friend that's collected all the Target steelbooks of them. and he bought them off eBay. He didn't go to Target and buy them individually. He bought like a lump lot from somebody for like $200. But he got them all in one fell swoop and got them, and he's very happy with that. But the films are usually great. They're usually good. But this one in particular, Bad Blood, was pretty good, and it kind of covers when Nightwing took over as Batman, because Batman had disappeared. And so Nightwing took over as Batman, and it was also around the time that Damian Wayne showed up, which is Bruce Wayne's son, and he's the new Robin. And I have heard people online complain about the new Robin, that every time you see him, they have to go through this explanation, and, you know, whatever. I mean, sometimes you got to explain it to people or they're not going to know. So I don't think that you have to do it every time, but, you know, he's a new character, and nobody knows who he is. And here's this other guy's Dick Grayson. Everybody's like, I thought Dick Grayson was Robin. No. Sometimes you just got to film it, go with it, let it go, and the audience will actually catch up if they really care. So they will find that out. Now, reviewing this and talking about this, which I enjoyed this movie. This has Katie Kane as the Batwoman in it, which, you know, Batwoman just recently quit, the lady that's playing her on TV, and a lot of people that's still kind of up in the air what they're going to end up doing with the CW show. But the rendition of Katie Kane in this movie is really good, and I think better than the stuff I saw on the TV show. So definitely worth your time, and her origin is kind of handled in this as well. Also, sad note, today Denny O'Neil died. Denny O'Neil was the author of many a Batman story, and the creator of Ra's al Ghul. Him and Neil Adams did a famous Batman run that brought Batman back to being the Dark Knight that he was known for after the Adam West TV show. And in the 70s and then like in the 80s, Denny O'Neil was the editor of the Batman books, and he's the one that killed Jason Todd, had the famous dial in and if you want Robin to die, and did that whole thing. So sad note about Denny O'Neil. I've always enjoyed his writing. He also wrote the Green Arrow, Green Lantern book with all the racial injustice things that were handled in it. And isn't that kind of odd for him to pass away at this time when that's such a thing in the forefront? But, you know, here he was in the 60s doing books about that. So, you know, one of the greats gone. But also, we did see this, of all the movies that we watched out of those, and there's not that many, there's just those last few, but Ingrid Goes West. And I'd seen another reviewer mention this a while back, and he said, if you ever see this movie out in the wild, pick it up. And then to see it at the Dollar Tree was like, oh, all right, I'll pick that up. But it's got Olsen in it from that's a Scarlet Witch from the Avengers, but she just really plays this snooty girl, and it's really kind of funny to see her in that kind of role, because she's always so nice and supportive and everything. She was the wife in Godzilla and all this stuff like that. So you see her in all these great supportive roles, and then in this she's like kind of snarky and shallow, and it's kind of fun to watch. There's a guy that's in it that looks so much like Ice Cube. I'm afraid he might be his son, but he was just really good in it. But the main star of the whole thing is Aubrey Plaza, and I've never seen her before, and she is really good in the film. It's just really good. But it's Elizabeth Olsen, and O'Shea Jackson Jr. is the guy that looks like Ice Cube, and it's just really strange. It's about this girl that goes on Instagram, and she learns about this influencer who is Olsen, and she moves to California to go and be with her and to meet her, and then she sets up kind of stalking her, running into her, and then just kind of copying her life. It's not total single white female. It's more of like a comedy, a dark comedy about her, you know, going through this thing, and she doesn't really know how to handle people, and that's something that comes up throughout the film. It kind of starts the film, and then that's how she ends up Ingrid Going West, which I think should have been the title of the movie. I think that, well, it is, Ingrid Goes West, but then there's also a tagline at the end of the movie, and if you watch it, you'll know what I'm saying. That seems like that should have been the title of the movie, because there's like a hashtag thing in it, I am Ingrid, hashtag I am Ingrid. And that kind of, to me, seems like that would have been the natural title to it. But it's got, you know, great reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's a lot of fun, and it is more of a dark romantic comedy. and I really did enjoy it. There were times I laughed out loud while we were sitting here watching it. So it's a great little film if you want to pick that up. But that is a huge haul. We had probably 16 movies total that I picked up for $1 at the Dollar Tree. So cheap movies are available. I don't think physical media is dying. I know a lot of people say that, but they actually say that since COVID, that the movie machines like DVDs and Blu-ray players and stuff has actually, the sales have picked up on. So that's kind of promising. So it's, if you want to have physical media, if you want to go that route, it's way cheaper. I'm telling you, 16 movies for $1 a piece, and one movie, if you download it, would probably be around $16 if you bought it new. So the deals are out there, folks. It's entirely up to you, whoever you want to pay and how much you want to pay or to see something. But they do trickle down, especially like Batman. You know, I would have been happy to see it when it came out, but I'm just as happy seeing it now for $1. And I've got a copy if I ever want to watch it. So that's just the way it goes. I'm Eric Stafford saying I hope you have a great time at the movies. If you want to like and subscribe, please. If you want to see more content like this, I have been, for some reason, I've been on a roll, and I've been picking up a lot of cheap movies, and so many so that I don't know I don't know how much I can get in and do on the show, but I do like to try to give you a little bit of a review, let you see what's going on. If you like talking movies, if you want me to watch a movie, one viewer mentioned, I mentioned Zack Snyder before, and he said, well, you know, he directed the Guardians of Galactica. Go back and check that one out. And I remember when that film came out, but I have never seen it. And it's a kid's movie about owls with superpowers or something, but it was like one of the first films he ever did. So I guess that's how he got the chops for being a special effects director. But you know, if I could find a copy of it, I tried to get it from the library, but I haven't got a copy of it yet. When I do, I will review the Guardians of Galactica, but it seems to be a little hard to get a copy of. And sticking with the cheap movies, trying to get on the cheap, I'll just check it out at the library. That's the easiest thing you can do. Get your library card, use that thing, because there is plenty of stuff out there that you can see for free. You don't have to buy it and keep it unless you just want to be like me and hoard movies. So that's all I got to say about that. But if you want to like and subscribe, hit the bell, so then you'll be notified whenever I post a video. I've been a little slack lately. I'm trying to get that straightened up. I had to go back to work. I know everybody's like, what? You had to go back to work? Yeah, I had to go back to work. And then now they've backed off again. So this just made it a little easier to get this done. But I appreciate you guys. If there's anything you want to know about movies or you want to ask me, all you got to do is email me, or you can follow me on Instagram. You can hit me up on Facebook. All this stuff is there. There's a Cheap Ass Movie Review page on Facebook. There's no wrong way to do it. Just get a message to me and I'll find it. So thanks for taking the time, and I hope you have a great time at the movies.